Hello, and welcome to Law of the West for the Commodore 64, a game by Accolade, in which you play the role of the sheriff of Gold Gulch, and your simple task is to survive a day. Nice premise, isn't it? You are basically doing your rounds for the day, and as you are doing your rounds, you will be bumping into individuals which will try to challenge either your authority or your patience. Each have a different attitude, and depending on how you want to play it, you have different responses which can use to either try to goad them into drawing, surrendering, just walk away, or any other outcome depending on the character. Some of them will not try to shoot you, some of them will just get upset, some will get outright annoyed, and yeah. But assume that anyone who's got a visible gun is more than likely to be able to be provoked into using said gun against you, including those that may not have visible guns, like this little lady who's actually packing a Derringer. So if you provoke her, she will draw. From a graphical point of view, remember this is a game from 1986. It is very, very, very nice looking. I absolutely love the backgrounds, and the main character sprite is a bit coarse, and the individual sprites of the characters you interact with can be a bit coarse, but bear in mind, as I said, the age of this game. Sometimes it has to be considered, and sometimes it hasn't. And in regards to this game, I definitely feel that it is a consideration, and based around that time, the game would have been absolutely epic looking. The sound themes are very Western inspired, and each individual have not an individual theme, there are groups of themes, but you can usually tell by the music whether what kind of attitude the character you're going to interact with may or may not have. As you have probably gathered from the video so far, you are approached by a person, and their opening line will usually indicate what mood they are in, what their intentions are, and so on and so on. Then you have a choice of 4 responses, which can lead to other responses depending on the first response, and depending on the outcome, sometimes the conversation is cut short because you provoke them into drawing. But ultimately, you can choose exactly how you want to play this. There's no right or wrong way of playing the sheriff. You can be the most nice person you can possibly imagine. You can be the most horrible, excuse the word, but it's the only word that rings true, bastard that you can possibly imagine, and it's entirely up to you. The thing is, the guy we're talking to right now is the doctor, and if you annoy him too much, he may not make as much effort into trying to save you in case you get shot. So it's a chance you can take. You can be absolutely horribly rude to everyone, try to provoke everyone into a gunfight, or you can be disarming and try to get those who are potentially bad guys into surrendering. Because of the multiple choices and because of the way the different characters react, many games like this, I mean, this game type would have been unique at the time, but of course many games since then has been released where it's not a question of what you want to say as a player, it's a question of what the person you speak to wants to hear. A thing that has been overly dominant in certain games. Neverwinter Nights 2 springs to mind in that regard, because the archetypes are so stereotypical. It's painful in that game. You need to constantly say what they want to hear, not necessarily what you want to say to them. Well, if you say to them what you want to say to them, then you're going to be on unfriendly terms with an awful lot of people very, very quickly. And I don't necessarily like being, from a gameplay point of view, coaxed into having to be in a certain way in order to get the value out of who I'm communicating with. But I suppose that is an individual thing. I play role-playing games by and large, and this is at a subtle level, a sort of role-playing. As a good guy, someone who stands firm, but who's got a willingness to be flexible to a certain point. Some of the citizens you speak to, like the boy we just spoke to, who's got a secret he won't tell, you can encourage him to let slip of that secret, and sometimes that secret would, in the case of him, the secret is that the bank is getting robbed, and that is another way to improve your score at the end of the game, by getting people to give you information about things like bank robberies and the like. As I said before, you can play the game how you want it, and the replayability or replay value in this game is definitely experimenting, because certain people, they are just of a certain nature and they want to be approached in a certain way, and I can't say for a fact that you can cause everyone to give you information about potential robberies. I can't say that you can cause everyone to surrender. You most likely can. I haven't played through all the options. There's a myriad of possibilities of combinations overall, so I couldn't say for a fact, but ultimately that is where the replay value in this game is. And I would say that this is going to sound very, very posh, but the writing in the game is sufficiently clever and intelligent to justify replays. So in that overall regard, the replay value is definitely present. You can probably exhaust the game at one point, and if this game type is not for you, then it doesn't matter, but it does have a certain replay value. When it comes to actually gunfights, I will say that you're supposed to be a fast draw, but you probably want to raise your gun early. You don't want to do it too early because that will upset them. But if you know you have said something that may or may not cause someone to draw your gun early, because some of them draw extremely quickly, and they will usually miss one, maybe two shots against you, and then they will hit. And if you are kind enough to just stand there and wait for them to draw before you draw, you are going to find that living to see another day might not be something you will do. So it seems a bit cheesy, but by and large, that is one of the few ways to make absolutely sure you don't get blown to smithereens. And I was so tempted to shoot him, but he didn't draw on me, so nope, not doing that. I'm a nice guy. As I said, graphics for the time was absolutely amazing. There's no denying, and I wouldn't necessarily agree with the game's hype saying that you will virtually see the what they're called, tumbleweeds passing in front of you when you are about to get into a gunfight, but it definitely fits the Western theme very, very well. Heavily inspired by real-life famous sheriffs like Bat Masterson and White Earp, and you can definitely sense that there's a certain amount of research gone into making this game. A fully enjoyable experience. It can get a bit repetitive, but exploring the different options is definitely the main gameplay element. And trying to work out at the end of the day how you can get different scores is an interesting thing. You can, at every scene, just draw and shoot people. The game's not going to prevent you from doing that, but it's just going to give you a score of, hooray, you killed a certain amount of innocent people, and they are considered innocent until you have provoked them into drawing. As you can see, the rating systems, we each get individual ratings of 0 to 1 to 12, and the stars authority is where I ranked highest. So, on that note, thanks for watching, take care, see you next time, bye bye for now.